Travel is more than just seeing sights, it's also the ideas of living. My guest today is David Evans, who's going to share his experiences on cruising to amazing Asia. Welcome, David, and thank you so much for your time. And today we want to hear and learn all about cruising to Asia. Why Asia?
Well, Asia is sort of the new hotspot for cruising. People will tend to start with the Caribbean, maybe go to the Mediterranean. Baltic was very popular a few years ago, and once people have been there, they want to go somewhere different. So
Right.
Asia is very exotic.
Very exotic.
It's
Variety.
Very interesting place. You can cover a lot of countries by cruising, so that's why it's becoming very popular.
And what are the most popular destinations?
Well, it sort of breaks down into 3 trips.
Okay.
The season generally is in our winter.
Our winter, okay.
Yeah, so January, February, March, April is the most common for the
Nice.
Asia cruises.
Right.
And early in that season, the cruising will usually be in the southern, like Malaysia, that sort of area,
Down east, yeah.
south. And then the
Yes, south,
ships
yeah.
will start working their way up, often hitting places like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and that, and working their way up to, they'll get into southern China. And then the last part is they keep going up north, and you'll get China-Japan cruises. And there are, at the end of the season, there are cruises that just go all the way around Japan. And then usually the ships will head across the ocean and do something in North America come May.
Wow,
Yeah.
sounds so enticing. Now, what is the duration? I mean, just traveling to Asia.
Well, you can
Takes
get any length. Like some of the Asia cruises are part of a world cruise.
Oh, okay.
So it might be might start in Fort Lauderdale or somewhere like that and end up in Fort Lauderdale, but they'll do an Asia portion of it. And with most world cruises, the cruise lines will break it down into 4 or 5 segments, and you can do just one segment if you want. That's one way. Others will.
What do you mean by segments?
Well, they'll do a 115-day cruise around the world.
Okay.
And they'll break it up into 20, 25-day
Right.
segments in various areas of the world. And you can book as many as you want. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do all 5, you'll completely circumnavigate the globe. But they all include an Asia portion as such. Some will do it as, some of the ships will do, for instance, Alaska cruising from May through September, October. Then they'll cross the Pacific and they'll go right down south around Australia, New Zealand. Then they'll work up and they'll do the Asia segment with it. So there's sort of each cruise line and each ship has a different way of getting there, but they're all there generally about that time because that's the best time to be there.
You're a seasoned cruiser.
Yeah, I've done a few, yes.
So, what do people ask for? What is their interest that draws them to plan a trip to Asia?
Well,
and cruising especially.
Well,
What is the motivation?
the big advantage of cruising, this isn't just Asia, but all of them, is you can cover a lot of countries, a lot of places, and you only unpack once.
And you see every day a different destination.
That's
right?
exactly it. You get to go ashore, you
Yeah.
see an exotic place, enjoy what you want to there. You come back on board, you have the advantages of, it's like really a traveling hotel. So you have a nice supper, you have the entertainment, you go to bed, and when you wake up, you're somewhere else.
Oh my God,
So,
David.
and especially in an area like Asia, where getting around, we're used to sort of North America getting around. Well, they don't have the big freeways like we do.
Yes.
So getting from Shanghai to Beijing might be a little more problematic
Right.
than sitting on a ship and just waking up the next morning and you're there. So
Okay.
that's the really big advantage of cruising and doing Asia. So.
And with regards to points, starting points, or the embarkation points
Yeah,
around, let's say, North America, Canada, Thunder Bay, in that way, which, I mean, if I have to go from Thunder Bay.
Well, fortunately, us being in Thunder Bay, you got to fly somewhere. The ships
yes,
don't
of
come to
course.
us. So,
Yes.
we do have a few embarkation points around the edges of North America, particularly down south, like Fort Lauderdale, Miami are big ones. San Francisco and LA are big ones on the other coast of that. And there are ships that go from there, also from Vancouver, go across and start doing the Asia cruising. And there are ones, of course, that start and finish in Asia. The main ports there are Tokyo, Beijing, Shanghai, and then there are a few down in Thailand and that where you can start and finish also.
Wow, wonderful.
Well, there's quite a variety because there's
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of cruise
absolutely.
lines and a lot of ships. So
Oh, there are lots of cruise lines and there are lots of ships.
Yeah.
It depends on, so like if you have to start planning, you said it's the winter, so you start planning from.
I would suggest 2 years in advance.
Oh my God!
If you
2
really,
years?
if you really want to make a good choice of it, because there is so many options.
Oh, really?
You want to narrow it down, and if you got somebody that can help you
And
narrow
you're-
it down, someone who's been there, someone who knows about it, and you got to sort of do a little bit of research or talk to somebody and narrow down what you're mainly interested in, because cruising's, I mentioned this before, it's kind of like buying a car.
Buying a car, yes.
And
yeah.
there's all sorts of different makes and models, and everybody
True.
will find the one that's suited best
Your
for them.
budget and
Yeah.
and your interest, I guess.
All of those things. You got to look at your budget, your interest, the availability, and of course what each cruise line has to offer, and you find the one that fits what you're looking for.
So if I'm looking for a destination, I just come to you and I say that I like cultural sites.
Yep.
Then how do I start
Well, there are
planning?
cruises that will specialize in certain things, but because when you get off a ship, what you do is completely up to you. It can be as simple as you get off and wander around on your own and see what you want to see. You have to do some research on that, or grab a cab and say, here's some money, show me around today. Or up to the high end of it where you can book a tour. When you leave the ship, someone picks you up and takes you and does all sorts of things. And you can cater that to what interest you have. So if you're interested in history and culture, you can do a tour on that. If you're interested in cuisine, you can do a tour on that. If you're an active person and you want to do something like zip lining through the jungle
Sports
or
and, yeah.
something like that, all of these things are available, and different people will like different things.
Wildlife and
Yeah.
tropical forests.
And even within a family, you may say a family of 4 or 5 traveling, you may find 2 or 3 want to do this,
Yeah,
and another 2 or 3 want to do that. Well, you can do that.
especially for children.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's, you got to do a little bit of research and talk to people who know what's going on to narrow down. Some people don't even know what they want till they start looking.
I'll start talking to
Yeah,
people.
you may
who've been
come
there.
across some things that really interest you that you weren't aware of before.
Yeah,
So planning is key.
planning is key and the
Yeah.
timing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people think cruising and other travel, you book last minute, you get a really good deal on that, but you're buying the trips that nobody else wanted.
Oh, I see.
See, and I would prefer that you started as soon as possible,
If you have to plan something around
and do
there.
some planning on your own, talk to some people, and have a bit of an idea before you talk to somebody about booking something.
David, on that thought, we'll just take a very, very quick short break.
Okay.
And dear viewers, stay tuned. We have so much more to talk and discuss and find out about cruising to Asia. We'll be right back.